Well, the successful soft landing of Chandrayaan3 on the lunar surface has given the world a glimpse of India's potential. But India won't stop here. There are bigger targets already set, and the success of Chandrayaan mission will only bolster those efforts. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, while congratulating the ISRO scientists on the phenomenal feat, also announced what's next on ISRO's target. ISRO will launch Aditya L1 mission, said Prime Minister Modi, which is a solar probe mission, as well as the Gaganyaan mission, which is India's first manned space flight mission. Now, his message was that India will go beyond the moon and explore the various possibilities by going deeper into space. He asserted that India has proven time and again that sky is not the limit.
We can all aspire for the moon and beyond. चंद्रयान महाअभियान के ये उपलब्धि भारत की उड़ान को चंद्रमा की कक्षाओं से आगे जाएगी। हम हमारे सौर मंडल की सीमाओं का सामर्थ्य परखेंगे और मानव के लिए ब्रह्मांड की अनेक संभावनाओं को साकार करने के लिए भी जरूर काम करेंगे। हमने भविष्य के लिए कई बड़े और महत्वाकांक्षी लक्ष्य तय किए हैं। जल्द ही सूर्य के विस्तृत अध्ययन के लिए इसरो आदित्य L1 मिशन लॉन्च करने जा रहा है। इसके बाद शुक्र भी इसरो के लक्ष्यों में से एक है। गगनयान के जरिए देश अपने पहले ह्यूमन स्पेस फ्लाइट मिशन के लिए भी पूरी तैयारी के साथ जुटा है। भारत बार बार ये साबित कर रहा है कि स्काई इज नॉट द लिमिट.
In fact, celebrations began across the country as soon as the ISRO chairman confirmed that India is on the moon. President Draupadi Murmu also hailed India's latest and historic milestone, calling it a once-in-a-lifetime event.
It is truly a momentous occasion, the kind of event that happens once in a lifetime, making all Indians proud. I congratulate ISRO and everybody involved in this mission and wish them greater accomplishments ahead. It shows how India has harnessed its rich traditional knowledge base along with modern science in the service of humanity.
Well, the Union Home Minister Amit Shah also hailed India's historic feat in Amrit Kal, hailing Prime Minister Modi's leadership, saying he brought in new space policy.
और बहुत बारीकी से प्लानिंग कर चंद्रयान को सफल करने वाली टीम चंद्रयान के सभी वैज्ञानिकों और सभी इंजीनियरों को भी मैं हृदय से बहुत बहुत बधाई देना चाहता हूं। और मैं देश के प्रधानमंत्री जी को भी बहुत बहुत बधाई देना चाहता हूं, क्योंकि स्पेस मिशन की उनकी जो कल्पना है, नई स्पेस पॉलिसी लेकर जो आए हैं, इसका बहुत शुभ आगाज आज अमृतकाल की शुरुआत में ही हुआ है। मोदी जी जो नई स्पेस पॉलिसी लेकर आए हैं, इसमें पिछले एक दशक के अंदर 55 स्पेस क्राफ्ट मिशन चले, 50 लॉन्च व्हीकल मिशन चले। आने वाला अमृतकाल स्पेस के क्षेत्र में और समग्र भारत के भविष्य के लिए मंगल है, इसका ये द्योतक है।
And while we express our kudos to the scientists who have worked tirelessly for the success of this mission, let's also talk about the accolades that are well deserved. Our scientists have accomplished what superpowers like US, Russia and China could not only in terms of scientific skills, but also the cost effectiveness. In fact, the cost of India's lunar mission stood at $75 million, less than half the budget of the Hollywood film Interstellar that cost $165 million. So basically, a film about space cost more than an actual space mission.
So when he meets, I think he will decide what he should do. I believe that he is coming here to congratulate us and then possibly understand what is further in the next many days. So we'll explain to him what's going to happen in the next few days, 14 days of work. So how it will bring out good science and for the benefit of the scientist here. And he may also be finding time to see how we built it and know about it itself. So we are trying to make sure that he will understand that.
Also, we are putting an imprint of India on the moon. The Ashoka Chakra is on the tires of the rover, is what I understand.
Yeah, we'll see what imprints are created.
All right, we have guests joining us this morning as we talk about what this means for India. We have let's introduce our guest, Jijit Nandaburi Ravi, former scientist at ISRO, who was also part of the GSLV launches and the Chandrayaan3 study phase as well. Thank you so much for joining us. We have Dr. Ajay Lele, consultant, as well as R. Rajagopalan, senior journalist, and Kamrazman Chaudhary, leader of the Congress party, joining us. Dr. Ajay Lele, I want to begin with the kind of celebrations that are taking place across the country. Of course, yesterday was a moment that was completely etched in our memory. In fact, I want to take it across to Jijit Nandaburi Ravi. You were also a big part of the success. I'm sure, as the entire country was celebrating and we were all feeling so emotional. For you, there was that personal connect as well. Talk to us about the significance of Chandrayaan3 landing softly on the surface of the moon.
Yeah, it was a moment of pride and a moment of great tension, but it's relieved very immediately. And as you rightly pointed out, this is a kind of a great achievement. Many superpowers could not, because South Pole polar region is a little bit tough region because of the oblique direction from the direct line of sight is very difficult from Earth. So the navigation and controls are very tough, and our scientists have done it. There is an automatic launch sequence, landing sequence, everything, which have worked textbook perfection. And if you look at the kind of achievement, because the moon is a kind of area which is open for international like exploration, X-ray, something like Antarctica. So we have a kind of a permanent, every agency is trying to have a permanent settlement there with bases. And this is a small step towards that you have a 14-day mission in the lunar surface, and you get a lot of insights like helium-3, which is the presence of helium-3, etc., can change a lot of technologically. It can help the nuclear fusion thing. And of course, in a simple terms, we are building a kind of infrastructure in a kind of interplanetary environment. So it's something like building roads and railways on the land on Earth. Similar that we are actually building an asset, and India is one of the 4th countries to soft land, but the first country to be in the South Polar region.
Absolutely. And can you tell us about the significance of that now that the soft landing has been achieved? Of course, celebrations in the country, but for the scientists, this is the phase that they're going to be looking at, the moon mission of that one lunar day, the significance of it, and what's going to happen now that the rover Pragyan is going to be on the surface of the moon. What are the details that it's going to send back to our scientists?
Yes. Yeah, so this entire mission, you have different payloads. So there are 2 payloads onto the rover itself. So it basically, there is a soil spectroscopy kind of an instrument, alpha particle X-ray spectrometer. So these are all studying the important elements like helium-3 and water ice and other very interesting kind of chemical and very valuable chemicals inside the lunar surface. So these are all being studied. They will be studied in the 14 days. And there are 4 payloads on the lander Vikram, which is there is an ionosphere study of the lunar surface. There is a slight ionosphere. Even though we say there is no atmosphere on the lunar surface, there is a very, very thin kind of gaseous presence, ion presence on the surface of moon. That is studying. And then we also have some temperature variation sensor. So all the temperature variations happening in the South Polar region. And of course, the seismic activities in the lunar surface, which can give you the structure of the internal gravitational anomalical structure of the lunar surface. And even this propulsion module have a kind of a very interesting instrument, which will have a kind of a study of Earth as a habitable planet. So the signatures of Earth as a habitable planet, which we can use it for studying any kind of exoplanets where there is habitable, which are habitable planets. So that signature we get, ISRO have its own signature data for studying extraterrestrial planets, outside the solar system, which is having a life. These are all the kind of things they will be studying in the 14 days.
Okay, all right. But, the entire world was watching. Dr. Lele, if you can come in here. The entire world was watching. We have celebrations coming in and, congratulations poured in from across the world because India has proven its space might. What does this mean for India, the global significance of India being the first country having its spacecraft reach have a soft landing on the south pole of the moon?
I think one must put this thing into a context. India belongs to Global South. India is still considered as a developing nation. So under these circumstances, India becomes the first country in the world which belongs to the bracket of developing nation to reach to those heights. Everybody thought that India is a country which could be a good country for the purposes of business because there is a good amount of a population over here. They are doing pretty okay otherwise. But when it comes to science and technology, India has put its mark not only in space domain, but few other domains too. But space is basically the front leader as far as demonstration of India's might in technology is concerned. And that's the reason why the world has got attracted towards India's story, particularly in the domain of space. Because it's not only today. For almost last 1 to 2 decades, India is doing a very wonderful job. We did a successful mission, Chandrayaan3 in 2008. We were able to identify, along with ISRO, along with NASA scientists, presence of water on the moon. That was a very key finding, not only for India, but for the entire world. Because the direction and the focus of this moon programs of rest of the world have got slightly changed based on India's findings. So definitely India has become a leader and there's no other option for the rest of the world other than to acknowledge India's greatness in this domain.
Absolutely. And, there were some foreign publications as well that were mocking India's space missions. Not that India needs any acknowledgement whatsoever, but it shows the kind of perception that it had, raising questions on whether this amount of money should be spent on space missions when there is poverty in the country. So this is how several foreign publications were looking at India's space mission. And now it's not just India entering an elite club. India is the elite club where the other countries are only aiming to reach. But, yesterday as the celebrations were going on, it was a day when politics should have taken a backseat, but unfortunately that did not happen, and we want to make a mention of that as well. Even as the nation was celebrating ISRO's achievement of landing its lunar mission on the moon, the Congress leader Digvijay Singh took a jibe at the government, alleging that the scientists who are working on the Chandrayaan project had not received salaries, a charge that was soon called out for being fake.
इसरो की ये योजना कोई आज की नहीं है जी। इसे स्थापित पंडित जवाहरलाल नेहरू के सपने को इंदिरा जी ने ही किया था, लेकिन साथ में प्रधानमंत्री जी को मैं ये अनुरोध करना चाहता हूँ कि जिन वैज्ञानिकों ने हमारे चंद्रयान को चंद्रमा तक पहुँचाने का इस प्रयास कर रहे हैं, 17 महीनों से उनका वेतन नहीं मिल पाया जी, उनका वेतन तो दिलवा।
So the BJP is now posing some quick questions to the Congress leader and asking him to respond. Listen in.
मैं दिग्विजय सिंह जी से पूछना चाहता हूं कि जब उनके संज्ञान में ये बात थी कि इसरो के वैज्ञानिकों को वेतन नहीं मिला तो इतने दिन चुप क्यों रहे? कौन से वैज्ञानिकों को नहीं मिला? कपोल कल्पित बातें करके और उन वैज्ञानिकों का जिन्होंने अथक प्रयास करके दुनिया के अंदर अंतरिक्ष क्षेत्र में इस देश का नाम किया, उनकी उपलब्धियों को छोटा करने की कोशिश की मैं निंदा करता हूं।
Mr. Rajagopalan, on a day when the entire country was celebrating and, there was such unity and patriotism in the hearts of every Indian, is this what we should be talking about? The Congress leader taking credit. In fact, it's not just Digvijay Singh, but the Congress handle also taking credit for this project, saying it was approved by a Congress-led government.
Whatever is that, made in India, made for moon. That is the new slogan today as of 10 a.m. Because as lunar walks on the moon, it's a pride moment for India. Apart from that, you asked me a question about the Congress. Pratibha, Congress has become irrelevant in Indian politics. It is nowhere because, they speak negativity. they don't behave like an opposition party. They behave like an enemy because they have friendship with China. They have friendship with Pakistan. And apart from that, Narendra Modi has brought in digital revolution, space revolution, power revolution, solar revolution. My apprehension is that Congress will, after 2024, it will become like a BSP political party, Bahujan Samajwadi Party. And by 2047, if India ISRO lands in at most all 9 grahas, what will Congress do? By then, I don't think this Congress will be in existence in Indian politics. Apart from that, today in Indian Express, an interview was printed by Mr. Kasturi Rangan, the former ISRO chairman.
Okay.
He was telling that there was no money sanctioned by the Prime Minister, Dr. Manmohan Singh. What does it indicate? It answers Mr. Digvijay Singh because salary may not be paid. Yes, of course. Like Prakash Raj made a tweet of Chayawala in Moon. There should be an FIR against Mr. Digvijay Singh, either in Madhya Pradesh or in
take in Mr. Kamruzman Chaudhary as well. Should you have made such a statement from the Congress party? In fact, the official handles of the Congress also spoke about the Nehru connect to the project, saying it was envisioned by him.
Yeah, first and foremost, you must understand after 1947, when India gained independence, we hardly had any resources to run the country. But from there, the progression was always a cumulative progression over the years. We are standing in 2023. If not the Nehru, Jawaharlal Nehru ji introduced the space program to India in 1962. In 2023, it would have been a very difficult task. But Congress never said that we are the ones who did this for the country.
No, but why rushing to politicize? That's the question. Before even congratulations, the political part of it came in. Stay with us. In fact, Sonia Gandhi has now also written a letter to the ISRO chairman, and my colleague Amita is joining us with those details. Yes, Amita.
Right. So irrelevant or not, but still being main and the primary opposition as we talk about here in the country's politics, here is what Sonia Gandhi, the Congress Parliamentary Party leader, the chairperson, has to write to the ISRO chief. Just going to quickly quote from that, she goes on to say that this is to let you know how thrilled I was by ISRO's magnificent achievement last evening. It is a matter of great pride and excitement to all Indians, particularly the younger generation. ISRO's outstanding capabilities have been built over decades, and it has had remarkable leaders and a spirit of collective endeavor that has always driven it. It is being anchored on self-reliance since the early 60s that has contributed to its great successes.
Okay. I wish talking about the early 60s again in the letter as well, Sonia Gandhi bringing in that point that the Congress party has also been making, that since decades there has been work that has gone into it. There may be some truth to it, but is it important to mention that the Congress party or Jawaharlal Nehru had made this at a time when the entire country is celebrating with the scientists? That remains the question. Lots to talk about. We're slipping into a very quick break here. We'll be right back to stay with us.